615-745-1676. That's 615-745-1676. Or go to their website at affordableheatingandcoolingtn.com.
Most people know that their insurance can provide them with coverage for the many life's mishaps, but I can help you also unlock discounts, save money, and get benefits with Farmers Insurance policy perks. Whether we're discussing home or auto insurance, I am here to help you understand these great perks. Call me, Mark Lewis, at 615-625-7070 for a quote, and you can get a whole lot of something with Farmers policy perks.
We are Farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Unavailable in every state. Only available select Farmers branded policies underwritten by Farmers Truck or Fire Insurance Exchanges or affiliate.
Want a flawless look without the wait? Step into the Vanity Zone in Smyrna, where upscale style meets everyday convenience. Specializing in precision cuts, color services, waxing, and more for men, women, and kids. All delivered by highly trained stylists with an eye for detail. And don't miss the signature hot towel refresher, the perfect finishing touch that leaves you feeling clean, relaxed, and ready for anything. Walk in or book now the Vanity Zone in Smyrna. Looking your best is always in style.
At Dr. Automotive in Smyrna, we're committed to providing local car owners with top-notch auto repair services. Let's hear what some customers have to say about Dr. Automotive.
I just really appreciate Danny and his whole team. I always feel like I'm going to get great service and the right outcome.
You just don't find any better people.
He's always been very good.
We've got the cure for your car. Dr. Automotive, keeping your car running smoothly, mile after mile. Visit our website, smyrnaautorepair.com.
AFFI is Middle Tennessee's premier choice for pest, wildlife, and moisture control. They specialize in those difficult and unique cases. You can reach them by phone at 615-300-2395. That's 615-300-2395. Or stop in at 200 Glenrose Lane in Smyrna.
Hey, Middle Tennessee, it's Mark from the Safe House. Can I have your attention, please? I have an important announcement. Our president has a backbone. Thank you, President Trump. We sleep better knowing our country is protected. And speaking of protection, criminals laugh when you purchase a fake safe from a big box store. There's no better time than now than to visit the Safe House and see what a real safe looks like. Rebates now through the end of July on select brands. Our brands include Liberty, Fort Knox, and Browning. Drop by one of our locations or go to NashvilleSafeHouse.com. And remember, we don't just sell safes, we sell peace of mind.
My wife and I enjoy going by Yard Sale Inc. We usually go to both locations, the one in Smyrna as well as the one in Murfreesboro. A lot of times on Saturday mornings we stop by, and their inventory changes weekly, so you never know what you're going to see, and it's mostly open box. The name fits it. It's exactly that. It's a yard sale. If you don't totally agree with the price, the staff is always friendly and nice and willing to work with you.
That's the Yard Sale store in Smyrna at 111 Enon Springs Road West, in Murfreesboro at 204 South Front Street, and online at bestdealintown.com.
Hi, this is Allie Dowenhauer with Isaiah 117 House. Isaiah 117 House provides physical and emotional support for children awaiting foster care placement here in Rutherford County. We are changing the way foster care begins, and those kiddos are brought to our house to hang out and wait for a foster family, and they're given everything they need. We support foster children, DCS, and foster families here in Rutherford County. Visit us at www.isaiah117house.com or visit our Facebook page, Isaiah 117 House, Rutherford County.
Hey, I'm Floyd, and I'm inviting you to join me at CR. That's Celebrate Recovery. We meet at Family Worship Center, 3045 Memorial Boulevard on Sunday at 6 p.m. We're a 12-step Christ-centered program that offers help for all the hurts, habits, and hang-ups that's causing you pain. The program works if you work it, and I'm proof. For other CR groups, go to CelebrateRecovery.com and click on the group finder. Hope to see you soon.
This is Conversations with Mike Sparks.
Are you concerned with the state of America, your state, your community? Then you're in the right place. State Representative Mike Sparks. He and guests are here to talk about local politics, history, faith, and freedom.
All right, you listen to Conversation with Mike Sparks. I'm your host, Mike Sparks. Got my buddy Roger Thomas in studio. Roger, how you doing?
Doing great, man. How you doing?
Doing good. Connor, how's school? He graduated 2 years ago. Connor, you're Kendo. You're Kendo, one of my church members. The Baileys, aren't you? Yep. Yeah. You know, Jim Bailey and Margaret. Margaret, is it Margaret?
She's related to
You don't even know your relatives' names?
I know Brenda because she's my aunt.
Oh, that's what I mean. That's what I'm asking you. Okay. He's giving me this look like, what? Don't stump me live on the radio.
Hey,
but
yes.
they're great people, though, man. Got to talk to her for a little bit today after Sunday school, you know. But anyways, I enjoyed the conversation so much last week with Eric Ritchie about this Route 66, the Great American Road Rally, that I thought it'd be great to bring him back up. What do you think?
Oh, yeah. And like I said, I think we could bring him up probably for next month. It was just
Well, I think it's your
great.
idea. It's your fault.
Well, yeah. But I just thought, like I said, when I told you that, you didn't really believe me, did I? I said,
no, I
man,
believed
you got to hear this story, man.
No, I thought it was cool. Eric, how you doing?
I'm great. Great, guys. How are you guys? Good thanks. Happy late Thanksgiving to you guys.
Yeah. Same to you, man.
What do you do for Thanksgiving?
Man, we hosted about 50 people at our house.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so it was a throwdown.
Really? What'd you do, Roger?
Well, it was a total of 6, but I've got family that went out of town, you know, that do the with in-laws out of town. And so my wife was dog sitting. I just took her plate.
Did you?
Yeah, so it was really just me, my daughter, and a couple of her friends, my grandson, and the one that, they did take your hat. Did you get me?
That's all right.
And his girlfriend.
Yeah. You know, it reminds me of my Kurdish buddies that own Auto World in Smyrna over by Bell Furniture. You know, I've bought 30 cars from them. If I count the Harley and another motorcycle, about 30 units from them. Great people, Eric. You need to get to know these guys. Just great guys. And a few years ago, I was asking Dilshad, and Dilshad, you know, he's this beefed up guy, and he looks he looks like he'd just tear your head off, you know. I mean, one day I asked him, I said, "What do y'all do for Thanksgiving?" You know, the Kurds. What do the Kurdish do for Thanksgiving? And you know what he said? And I can't use profanity, but if Bart's listening, but he says, "We eat the blank out of some turkey. What do you think we do?" And I was like, I didn't know, roast some goats or something. I didn't know what they do, but we always laugh about it. And I'll bring him something for Christmas. And there's just sweet people, man. But you need to get to know them. Y'all could develop a good partnership.
Yeah, I'd love to. Yeah.
You know, they do a little paint and body work, and they'll have a few classic cars.
Cool.
Well, before we get into the Great American Road Rally again, talk about your car business.
Yeah. So I bought what used to be First Chance Auto. I think it was or First Class Auto.
First Class. Yeah.
First Class was the original shop down there. That was they built the building in 2018, and I've been driving by that place. I live down here in Smyrna, so I've been driving by that place for years. And every time I drove by it, I said, you know, if I was ever going to build a shop that was dedicated to classic restoration and custom cars, it'd probably look a lot like that place.
That's a beautiful building.
Yeah, beautiful place. And then a couple years ago, almost 3 years ago, the guy that I go to church with had called me up one morning. He said, "Hey, man, you know that place you've been pining away over for years just came up for sale." And so, long story short, we went down and cut a deal with them, and I took it over in August 3 years ago. And started converting it into, it was just an auto service and collision center at the time, but it was like, I tell people, it was like giving an alcoholic a liquor store, you know, to run, because, you know, it was, it was, you know, as much into classics, and I owned some other kind of classic and custom car shops over the years as well, or part of them anyway. And so we just slowly started introducing that function into the shop, and it's really taken off. If you step in there tomorrow morning, you'll see half the shop is classics and customs. My
former assistant Marvin used to go by there a lot. he goes by Dr. Automotive a little bit, have them work on his car.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
But, the previous owners, I know they had some issues. The nice guys. I mean, they were nice people.
Yep.
My assistant really liked them. I thought they were a little expensive, But then again, I think everybody's high,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm still stuck in the 90s prices.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well,
Why
yeah.
not?
I'm glad some people have moved away from that, but
Hey, I just bought some tires yesterday. Man, I heard the funniest story yesterday. And y'all know Jeff French used to own Tire Man across from Steve John's Appliance.
I know the place. I've never met him.
Well, he
before.
sold out. He sold sold his tire business. But he deals with. I guess he got a connection at Firestone, got a connection at Express, Pull and Save, and he just comes across tires and wheels. And so I seen a little ad on Marketplace about 2 weeks ago, and I'd been needing a set of 285 45 22s, and they're expensive. And I really wanted a set of Michelins.
We do tires too, Mike.
Okay, well, I don't know if you do these tires, and this Roger kind of comes in a way he don't know this yet, and so I see these tires, and I text, and it's his. I didn't know it was the same. I didn't know it was Jeff. So he just brought the tires over next day, drops them off. And they were nice, but they weren't. They were a good set of takeoffs, and I'll buy used tires. I mean, a lot of people won't buy used tires, but I'll buy a good set of takeoffs because you're saving the heck out of some money.
Sure, yeah.
And I said, man, I said, I really want to get a better set. And so he said, man, I got a set, and he's got a connection. And I may not be able to share it on the air. It's all legal, but it's got to do with Firestone, okay? Because I know y'all get these tire discounts and stuff because you're retired over there. And because I'm thinking, what's the catch? What's the catch if it's this good a deal? And anyways, I bought those tires, but they're a 275 50s, which guess is on the new Cadillacs. And they were takeoffs from 6-8 months, maybe last year. And I had... I think the guy's name is Simon over at the old Larry Lee's gas station, the antique gas station.
Yeah.
Hispanic guy, super nice fella, and I had him put them on there. But man, they ride so much better. But shout out to Jeff French for hooking me up. But him and I got talking about motorcycles while we were at the station, and I said, man, I thought about getting me another bike, and he goes, man, I'm not going to get on no more bikes. He says, it's just getting dangerous out there. And it is dangerous. People don't look for motorcycles.
Yeah, and it's not the bike riders. It's everybody else. Right?
Exactly. And I've just, last one I had, I bartered for it, and I rode it 4 times in 4 years. So my wife seen me looking at bikes about a month ago, and she goes, what are you looking at? I was looking at the bike. She said, you ain't getting on bike. She was kind of going off. And I'm like, I wear the pants in the family. And I was trying to explain that,
Wait a minute. What'd you just throw in there? I hope your wife's not listening, man.
She don't listen. Okay. But here's what Jeff said that was hilarious. He said, this guy was tailgating me or riding my bumper. He said, had some words with him, and he was out there on Hobson Pike on his Harley. Him and his wife. He says the guy passes by him and throws a cheeseburger at him. I said, a cheeseburger? He goes, well, maybe a hamburger. I don't know if it had cheese on it. And man, I was laughing. I was like, oh my gosh, this is the craziest
I've heard
story.
of getting a finger thrown at you, but never a cheeseburger.
Threw a cheeseburger at me. But anyways, the moral of this story is shout out to Jeff French. If you need a set of tires, Jeff will take care of it.
Now they've cracked down on what you're probably talking about. Yeah, so I had to show all this information that I did work area and everything. They told me because people were abusing that. What you're kind of referring to.
I mean,
no, but I know
may not even be allowed to share that on the radio, but just being honest.
No, but they actually the main one. I know who the main one was, and but anyway, now we have to prove we were employees.
Jeff, but I bought tires from Jeff for you. He supplies a lot of the car dealerships and stuff. Yeah. But he don't sell any tires that's had patches. He don't sell them over than I think 5 years old. But Jeff's number, if anybody wanted to call him, 615-485-0309, 485-0309. And I hope you don't mind me sharing that story.
Did you ever ride on baloney skins, with tires that didn't have no tread left. You didn't have no money when you were kids.
Man,
all the time.
If you had a car when I was you had a lot of buddies because nobody had a car.
Money,
I had a 62 Ford.
We had no money.
But your tires would be like, man, you got any tread? No.
You had to make do.
They look like racing slicks. I mean, it's just old.
No. What was it like? So you grew up in
Montana.
What was it like in the winters up there?
It's pretty rough. My family had a large, one of the larger Black Angus fat cattle operations in South Central Montana, and so the winter was a big, busy time of the year for us. So we farmed about 4,000 acres of farmland in the summer. It was all put up. It was all put up in corn silage for the winter cattle operations. So we would have thousands of head of cattle on the place in the winter, and we had full road graders and a whole fleet of feed trucks. And
you had your own road graders, really?
So we had to plow roads out to the cattle every morning before we made off to school.
Do you ever go back?
I go back a lot.
Do you? You miss it?
I miss it a lot. My whole family's is up there still in Montana or Wyoming. My younger sister has been a permanent Wyoming resident, and she's run some big ranches down there. And so, but I go back. I just lost my dad in June, and
how old was he?
He was 83.
83, yeah.
And so I was going back about every 4 to 6 weeks.
You're kind of
last year.
I mean, you're fortunate you've had him this long.
Oh yeah.
I mean, a lot of people say that.
And he's really, he and my mom divorced when I was really young, and my mom's side of the family had the ranch, and my dad, that's where the love of cars came from, is my dad started his own auto body garage out of his own house, and operated out.
Where was he living?
He was in Billings, Montana.
Oh, really?
And so.
So did you get to visit him growing up?
Oh yeah, he was 15 miles down the road. You know, so we had that luxury, and he and my mom got along great. That was a blessing for us kids too. We never had to make a decision. But I grew up building cars with my dad and my brother, and that's where it all started. And my dad was super excited about this American Road Rally project that we started, and he was. It was really unfortunate he didn't make it to see it, but we're going to be driving in his memory for sure.
So, but it's good y'all had a good relationship.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, it was a wonderful relationship.
You had a good relationship with your dad, didn't you?
Oh yeah, but he died pretty young. He was 56 when he passed away.
Yeah.
But we actually worked together.
Really?
I owned a business, and he was with the old Coons Big K, and Walmart bought him out. He met Sam Walton and all them, and they offered him a job in Bentonville, Arkansas.
Oh yeah.
But he was 53 at the time. And he thought, he said, I don't want to go down there. And I owned a business at the time, printing business on Thompson Lane. He came in business with me, and he died 3 years later.
Oh, wow.
What was it, heart attack?
No, brain tumor.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he thought he had the flu, and he said, man, I can't, because when you're in your own business, you don't work, you don't eat. I mean,
exactly.
People, that's how that works. And he said, man, I got to go get a shot or something.
Yeah.
And he went to the doctor, and that Monday they was doing surgery on him. Lived 1 year after
that's
that.
what my sister had. Vicky had a brain tumor. But she lived up to 60, 61. But, I want to go back on something, because you and I were talking about faith.
Yeah.
And your Bible study that you're and I think it's cool. I mean, I think you hitting on the right thing.
Oh, yeah.
But, speaking of tires, I know people wouldn't believe this, but back in the day, I was dating my wife. I had this IROC Camaro. Man, that thing was really a pretty fast car. It really was. And man, everywhere I was going, I hate to admit it, I was getting it. I mean, I was going too fast, and I literally one night I had a dream, and in the dream, I seen the wires in the tire on this car.
I want to dream.
No, I got up, and I remember because I was on the way to church, and I thought, man, this is a crazy dream. I had a dream that the front left tire had the wires sticking out of the tire, and I was fixing to go to church. Those cars sit so low. You really can't see the tread hardly. Because it's so low profile. Yeah. And I stuck my hand in there, and I went up the tire, and I almost cut my fingers because the wires were all sticking out.
Yeah.
The rest of the tires were fine. And it was like, I guess you call it a premonition or God's way of saying you need to get you a set of tires.
Yeah.
And I had to go find some used tire, because man, them tires back then were about $160. $160 back then would be like $400 a day,
Yeah. Well, those visions, you got to listen to those. I grew up on bikes. We were talking about bikes a little earlier. I grew up riding dirt bikes and running motocross, and kind of transitioned into some bigger bikes and street bikes as I got older.
Yeah.
And my wife and I were a part of the motorcycle club at Life Point First Baptist Church for years when they had that. And when she was pregnant with my daughter Piper, who was here last weekend with me.
Did she eat all the donuts, by the way?
She ate a couple of them.
Big old box of donuts that was here.
They didn't. Stuff like that doesn't last around my house at all. But she had a dream one night that we were on. I had a big Vulcan, a 1500 Vulcan back then. It was decked out.
Nice bike.
And and she had a dream one night that we got in a really bad accident on that bike, and she never got back on it again. And so we had to drop out of the club. I sold the bike. I mean,
I believe it, man.
And I'm, it's one of those deals that you take it. You can either be upset about it because that part of your life is gone, or you can thank God that it probably saved you from something else down the road.
Well, like I say, the other bike I had, I rode up. I met a guy up in he called me out of Indiana, and I had a 1500 Warrior.
Yeah.
And it's an old guy called me. He goes, "Hey, will you do some trading with me on my 900?" And anytime you do trading, you always try to ask for some boot if you can. You know what I mean? And so I was like, "Well, man, how much boot can you throw in on this?" He said, "Boot." And remember, he's called me from Indiana, and he goes, "Boot?" Like, yeah. I go, "Yeah, some boot." He said, "Man, I got more in accessories than you're asking for your entire motorcycle. Like, I'm doing you a favor, but you still ask, you know." And my mother would say, "You have not because you ask not." It's in the Bible somewhere, Book of James, I think. My mom used to say it was in the Bible. But I met that guy in Lebanon Junction or something, Kentucky. Beautiful bike, and I only rode it 4 times in 4 years. I just never had time to ride the thing.
Did you make any money off of it?
I doubled. I mean, give God the glory for it. I mean, I doubled my money on it, but it took me 4 years to double the money on it. You know, but you do much bartering?
I did have over the years. Yeah, my dad was a king barter guy.
So he just kind of probably it was a challenge, I guess.
Oh yeah. And I think that was in his DNA. I mean,
exactly.
I mean, he spent the last years of his life, he's a big cook. He did a lot of the cooking in our family.
Oh, really?
And that's where my love of cooking came from. So I did a lot of the cooking on Thanksgiving and the holidays. But he used to years he was alive. He'd make 50 gallons of salsa and all this stuff and go to the farmer's market and just sit down there and sell stuff and banana bread. My dad was known throughout all of Montana for this banana bread that he made. So
that's cool though.
Yeah, I know a guy that bartered a whole lot, but he even actually wrote a book.
Have you read that book, by the way? You gonna read it?
I haven't read it. I'm going to read it. Absolutely.
Right.
I'm going to read it. I'd like to know who I'm hanging out with.
Well, you may find a typo in there. No, I got a story, and I wrote a book. Learn to barter. And I don't push my books. It is on Amazon though, online. But anyways, I had this lawmaker, and he's a great guy. I gave him a copy years ago, and he actually read it, and he would always laugh. He says, "You got a story in there. I think it may be under the." I've got the one, Learn to Car Business Fund and Profit, which is also on Amazon. But it talks about, I think it was Steve McQueen or one of them guys that would say, or it's Paul Newman, had this quote, said, "If you're ever at the poker table and you don't know who the sucker is, it's probably you." And so I put that in there. Like, the point I was making is know what you're buying. I mean, do the research, because in all honesty, I always brag on Z and Dilshad and Baywar and Ray over at Auto World, because I trust the guys. They've been good to me. I mean, they even came to my mom's funeral, and they're Muslim.
Yeah.
It was really, really sweet. I was a little surprised because he was kidding me. He goes, "Man, you trying to convert me to Christianity?" I'm like, "Yep, just being straight up with you, man." But he had they've treated me really, really good on some cars and stuff. But going back on knowing that deal, you could really become more of an expert as a layperson as that salesperson is. By just doing the research.
I mean, look at the, just look at the guys from American Picker, Mike Wolf, and those guys. Mike, I've met
one of them passed, right?
yeah. Frank passed a couple years ago. But Mike lives right here out in Leapers Fork.
Really?
And in fact, I've got the Model A that's in my lobby. Was a Model A that he had given, 1931 Model A that he had given James Burton, and then James Burton had given it to me after we got back from Europe.
Oh, cool.
A couple years ago, and we did a big live concert event for him over there. But Mike Wolf, I actually had an opportunity to have lunch with him out in Leapers Fork.
Mike was
about a
taller,
year ago. Kind of sandy.
Okay.
Salt and pepper.
Did they have a falling out towards the end of the show?
No. Frank had some health issues that ended up taking him.
Seemed like they had good. What do you call it? Good chemistry, rapport online.
Oh yeah.
What about the Hall & Oates people? No, I'm kidding. You should have never told me that story. See, that's the edge of my head, man.
Yeah.
Well, you ever had that happen?
Yeah.
Well, I actually got a little John Oates story.
I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan for real.
I actually got a little John Oates story before y'all go into it.
Go ahead.
A buddy of mine, he's been working at the Bluebird Cafe for the last 8 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like the doorman, big old guy, and he he told me that you never guess who was here the other night. He just kind of come up and did a couple songs with John Oates. I said,
really?
Yeah.
And he's, he is at a point in his career. He's doing a tour now that's a real intimate, couple instrument deals, some smaller theaters,
like a 75 to 100. What I read,
and it's amazing when you see a guy that's that talented and has that much history and influence in the music industry. And my wife and I went with some other people to see a show in Nashville about a year ago, and to hear how some of the most famous songs that he and Daryl ever put out, he wrote a lot of them, and but it's really interesting to hear how he wrote them. Like there were some of the songs that they sang that sounded completely different, their version when they first wrote them, than what they sounded like when they finished producing them. And so you get John's having a lot of fun, and the shows are fantastic, and you get a lot of the history and a lot of the stories from how his life and his songwriting, and his singing career with Daryl and others. He's had an incredible career.
Yeah. You play?
I do. Yeah. I where I grew up, I started playing when I was young. And, I played in a bunch of bars. I was in a band called the Chosen Few Band in Montana that opened for a lot of, Bachman Turner Overdrive and a couple other,
I got
shows.
to see them in person years
and
ago.
Billy Dean and some of the fair stuff, growing up. But when I got out of college, I played in that band for a little while and got to, that's where kind of the introduction to Mae Axton came from. And I ended up living with Mae Axton when I moved down here for about a year up till the point she passed away. I was actually one that found Mae the day she passed away.
Oh, really?
And, man, what an icon, in the music industry. And so through her, I met a lot of the,
Did you do any songwriting?
Yeah.
Do you really?
Yeah. Did a lot of it.
Do you find like therapy with that?
I do. Yeah. It was a bit of an escape growing up. I grew up in a town that had 9-10 buildings in it, in Montana.
Did you have a red light?
We had a blinking yellow light. We didn't even have a red light.
I remember in Smyrna, we had the 3 red lights in a row.
Yeah, and if you hit one of them, you get a ticket.
Remember, describe where they were. People probably won't even believe this.
Oh, wasn't one ended Hager there, and one right there coming off of Washington, and then the other one was it right there at not at Sam Davis. What's the next street over? Tank? Is it
Tank Street? Tank?
But it was 3 right
where the donut palace.
Yeah, I think it was 3 like right to top each other.
Who wonder who masterminded that?
I don't know.
3 red lights right in a row. Stop, go, stop, go, stop, go.
Yeah. Now we ain't got any. It seems like I know we got one, but it seems like we hadn't got any.
I've gotten Mark Atkins asked me. Speaking of red lights, running. Mark. You
go church with him.
We had a roundtable discussion with the mayor and council and our delegation, and I'm really proud of Jefferson Pike. A lot of folks have been advocating for that for years, and it's just looks nice, but the speed limits are a little jacked up over there. I don't know if you've been that way.
I have.
Anyways,
but that's a TDOT thing, isn't it?
Well, it is TDOT. Anyways, I've had a few people reach out to me about it, but TDOT happened to call me when I was at Rotary, and I took the phone over and gave it to Mark. So I said, hey, talk to the vice mayor. Anyways, they can set that themselves. I don't know what it should be. Should it be 30? Should it be 40? Should it be 55? I don't know.
Well, add about 20. That's what people are. I mean, if you do 30, that means they're going to be doing 50.
It drops down kind of quick and looks like it.
Do you ever do the speed limit?
I'm not saying it's. Well, honestly, to be honest,
not that IROC you did.
Not IROC, but I've kind of slowed down a little bit. I really have.
They probably did that on some old studies back when Mike was riding around. But the guy's doing 80 through here. Just go ahead and put it at 55.
No, I've learned to kind of. I'm just getting old. I'm just chilling.
Yeah, cruising.
You know, just cruising.
Yeah, was that chilling that night? You was in your wife's car.
My wife's car is a different story.
Yeah. He gave me a ride in it. Well, I rode up to the station with him. Midtown Hot Rodder was here, and I think it went to Mike's head. He thought he won the hot rod. Whoa.
Well, I tell you what, I told you the story of my wife's car.
Yeah.
She spotted it.
Yeah.
I was telling Mr. Willis Johnson that story.
Yeah.
If people aren't believers, I mean, Dr. Carl Young talked about these things, synchronicities.
Yeah.
But for her to spot the car on a car hauler coming up from Florida, and I'm not.
And it's her car.
And it's her car.
Yeah.
She goes, I've seen the prettiest Mercedes on a car
I was
hauler.
in part of the cover-up on that when he gave it to her.
It was so. Oh yeah, we were there. Oh, was that not cool?
Yeah,
I did That's probably one of the coolest things I've ever done. I did a Facebook Live. I think it was the first one I've ever done.
Really?
And it was a gamble because you're live.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what if somebody used a bad word or something like that. So I was afraid somebody's going to tip her off. We were over at Gateway Classic Cars.
Oh, yeah.
And I was doing my chili cook-off. We did
No, that one was a fundraiser. That was...
it's when Alice Rowley come in.
Yeah.
Alice was there.
Yeah, that
Alice
one
run
your
for
chili
mayor.
cook-off. We do that over at the,
Yeah, and so she was looking at this Camaro, 68 Camaro, which I had in high school, and I was afraid someone was going to tip her off, like, hey, what do you think about your car? Because here's what happened. My son Peyton drove. I've never drove this car.
Mm-hmm.
Drove it from Auto World over there at Gateway, and Gateway let me park it like it was for sale.
Yeah. They had a sign on it that said sold on it and everything.
It was so cool. Dude put sold up there.
Really cleaned up and real nice.
Yeah,
like
and had it sitting there. So
did you come up with that idea?
Yeah.
Did
I
you?
mean, it was so cool.
That's good.
But I was kind of walking her or kind of that way and she was looking over there. And
he was in on it.
Yeah, I was part
but
of it.
But it was so cool because it was... Because one reason this mattered to me so much, when my mom died, my wife took care of my mom for 6 years. I mean, 3 meals a day.
Mm-hmm.
And have you ever had to take care of anybody old?
Yeah.
Man, it's hard. It's a hard job. So God bless any caregivers out there. But she sacrificed her life for my mother. So I want to do something special. And she's looking at the car, and I said, and she goes, "Oh boy, it's so pretty." So I had her Facebook Live, and I said, "Yeah," I said, "I heard some guy bought that for his wife because she took care of his mom for 6 years." And it didn't really sink in. And I said, "Yeah, isn't that crazy? Some car sold, some guy bought that for his wife, took care of his mom for 6 years." And she looked at me like, "What? Like, what do you mean?" I was like, "That's your car." She goes, "What?" And I was like, "That's your car."
She couldn't believe it.
She couldn't believe it because I don't do that kind of stuff. I mean, I do not do that kind of stuff, But I want to do it for her. But guy asked me, he says, "Man, if you drove this car?" I'm thinking he found something wrong with it. I said, "No, man, why?" He says, "Man, this thing's a twin turbo AMG. It's an AMG. It ain't got the AMG engine. It's got the AMG badges." And I think he said 0 to 60, 4.5 seconds, which I know we had Douglas up here, Douglas Berger. He's with Trans World Business Advisors, and I think his Corvette is 3.8 seconds.
Oh, yeah.
0 to 60.
Well, what was it from Broad Street to when
I
was
didn't. I didn't. Well, it's hard. You ever been in a car? You can't. You got to go fast.
Only time, honestly.
Yeah, man, I've got a whole shop full of them
that's
over there.
Only time,
I love it.
if you're listening, Felicia, that's the only time he stepped on it because the hot rodder people were out there, and I think he wanted to show off a little bit.
It would. Well, what's cool about it is if you're like running 40 and you tromp it, then it's like, boom, it gets out there. Yeah. I was up here one day. Roger, was you help me when I got pulled over on the way up here years ago? About 8, man, you don't speed near 840 because the deputies, Chris Beach, and them will hang out over there.
I ain't never been with this on these any times you got pulled over.
They pulled me over. They got me. I was getting it, and I told the cop. I said, he goes, "You realize how fast you're going?" I said, "No, sir." He says, "Man, it was fast, but not crazy fast." And I said, "Look, I put these new wheels on this car. Maybe it's thrown the odometer off." And he goes, "Not that much like that." And he was a new cop. But you know what?
They weren't tractor tires.
Like I was telling him, I said, "Well, I mean, I know I was guilty and gave me insurance, all that stuff." And I said, "Well, I'm on the way to the radio station." I said, "Tonight," and this was God's honest truth. I said, "Tonight, we were literally talking about mental health among police officers and firefighters, because it's a serious issue, know." And he just said, "Man, just slow it down, But man, if you're not careful, that stretch from Florence over to Bumpus, you'll be going fast before you know it."
Yeah,
that red light's probably helped slow.
And some cars just are going fast, and they don't feel like they're going fast. You got to be careful.
This was just a Camry. I mean, it was, no, but I've tried to slow it down. It's not worth it, man. Could you imagine? We had a fatality. You seen fatality last night.
Two of them.
It's just sad.
Did Tony have to work at?
No, but I seen Tony after church working a wreck I think somebody cops found drugs behind Publix at a car, and Tony was working in. Now, Tony's had to work some gruesome accidents.
Yeah.
He really has.
I had my roommate all through college was a ended up being a sheriff's officer and police officer in Cheyenne, Wyoming for the rest of his career until he retired a couple years ago.
He cut you some slack, I'm assuming.
They get.
He cut you slack.
Well, unfortunately, I didn't get back. I wish I would have been in a place I could have leveraged that relationship a few more times. But
no, they see a lot, you know.
Oh, it's horrible. Yeah.
I mean, you look at the marriages, the average. I mean, the divorce rate's real high among firefighters.
Well,
and police.
you know, it's very military-ish. You know, that whole community. It's, you know, we've done, as you know, a lot of fundraising, a lot of over the last 20 years. You know, I hosted a television show that took severely wounded vets on kind of high adventure outings as part of the rehab for 4 years, and that really got us fully ingrained in that whole. But you just can't talk about military without talking about first responders and without talking about police and fire and SWAT and guys like that, because they all see and experience a lot of the same sad parts of life on a regular basis, and they all have their own forms of PTSD and you know, a lot of them need help, just like our military folks do, you know, to get through.
You know, my late father,
stuff.
he was World War II. He was married 5 times. Well, 4 for sure that we know of. My mom didn't know when she married him. She come over from Scotland, and he met her over in England. But you know, he probably had a lot of post-traumatic stress, and we just didn't.
Oh yeah, I mean, he's right in the middle of it. He was on one of the bombers, wasn't he?
Yeah, he's seen a lot.
World War II.
Well, I was doing some research today that the 8th Air Force, pound for pound, lost more men. The 25% of them were never coming home, and he would tell me that. But I was just a kid. I think he flew 24 bomber raids. But I'm just a kid. I didn't really pay much attention. But sadly we didn't speak for like 8 years of his life, and my dad was just he was, you know, we got a Smyrna councilman. He don't like me sharing it, but he told me, he says, "Yeah, I knew your dad, meanest man in Smyrna." He said my dad was the meanest man in Smyrna. And at first, it made me mad at first for like 2 seconds. And then I thought, well, he was pretty mean.
Well, he wasn't mean to me. I must not been his paper boy.
He was just militant.
Well, he liked you.
You know, if that was him, I never had nobody. I had some to get mad, but I don't think on Woodland, your street, nobody ever got mad. But they'd be waiting out there, a big guy waiting for me. And it seemed like it was your house.
He had. What is so sad with relationships? If you think about it, man, he built the house that I ended up buying for my family. He poured so much into that house.
That's a nice house.
2 years later, my mom wanted a divorce, and you know, I often think about what was it like for my father, because I had heard that he literally lived in a bus for a while. You know, was like homeless for a while, but mom was raising 5 kids on her own. But you know, you think, couldn't somebody intervene? He was not a believer. He was not in church, but you know, you think what people went through, and to be married 5 times, and the pent up anger he was probably dealing with, and lack of forgiveness.
Oh yeah.
But just think if somebody could have intervened and said, you know, you got to let it go.
How long was he in the military, Mike?
He was 25 years.
Oh, okay.
He was stationed out of Seward. That's why we moved here.
Yeah.
You know, that's why there's such an opportunity, kind of coming full circle. That's why there's such an opportunity to minister to those guys. Yep. But you can't. You know, I came to Christ really late. You know, I was in my 30s, early 30s.
Well, you probably got a great testimony.
Yeah, and
you know, most of us grew up in church down here.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up on a farm, and the religion where I grew up there was farming. You know, you had 7 days a week. I mean, you didn't go to church. You didn't take a half a day off and go, go to town and go to church. I mean, you know, so we weren't exposed to that at all. And so I didn't even know a Christian until I was a freshman in college.
Who was that?
And I guys on the track team. I went to college at the University of Wyoming on a track scholarship, and you know, some of the folks there, and 2 guys one of the guys I ended up was roommates with for the rest of his college career there. He was a year older than me, was a strong Christian guy, and there were some other guys on the track team that kind of exposed me to it. But I didn't really give my life to Christ until I was 30, 31 years old.
Yeah.
And you know, after I met my wife was a huge part of that.
Yeah.
You know, and right here at First
So
Baptist.
your wife took you to church.
Yeah. Well, I went to church to date my wife.
Oh, exactly.
At the time, you know? Yeah, that's how unchurched guys do it, right?
Exactly. Well, I mean, you know, God works in mysterious ways.
I was 23 when I was baptized.
Were you? And you grew up. Well, you grew up.
I grew up in the church, but I'm Baptist. I was baptized in Baptist church with my ex-wife. She went there, but yeah, my dad was a deacon. You know, and I was named after the preacher, Church of Christ, Old Jefferson Church of Christ.
Now, Mr. Charles Jones knew the preacher, right?
Not that one. This one he could have. This was This was Paul Rogers. This guy went on to Centerville later on. This was 1955. This is 1955, and I don't know if Charles, but I have seen some things that Charles signed 1949 where he went to my uncle's funeral, the one that got killed in Normandy.
Oh, okay.
And I seen where, and Charles knew him.
Tell Eric who Charles we're talking about.
Oh yeah, Charles. Yeah, oh yeah, Charles Jones. Yeah, he's we've had him speak at Mike's Chili Cook-Off. Yeah. Mike's had him on the radio several times, and he lived in Old Jefferson. He wasn't born there, but he lived there like when he was like 5 or 6, and he lived there several years.
He remembers going down Samberly Parkway when it was Jefferson Pike. Think about this now, before Seward Air Force Base was built.
Oh wow!
He remembers traveling, I guess, in a Model A or something. Yeah. He grew up out there.
And he also owns that Milky Way. And I got talking about
Milky Way Farm.
Yeah, and that's the one that, and that's when Eric was telling me he had put a pitch in on that to make a hunting lodge out of it. Yeah. And so
what's he doing with it now?
I have no idea. I haven't checked in with him for a long time.
Put a deal together with him. I mean, he's a great guy.
It was right, during that time when it was tied up in a bankruptcy and was being sold by the bank years ago, and we had a great idea to turn the whole farm into a really high-end hunting gun club, out there. And some other people were able to pull the trigger on the property before we got it done. So.
I'll tell you how to connect with that guy. He grew up at Old Jefferson. His house, well, he tells, remember, he's 95 years old.
Yeah.
His mind's still sharp. He still remembers. He'll be talking about stuff from grade school. Won't he?
And my aunt, she'll be 97. She's just a little bit older than him. I text her every day. She calls me every night. She's been on the radio. She has to call in because Mike wanted to get her up here.
Yeah, I want to come up here.
She can't come up those stairs because she can barely walk.
Yeah.
But Mike said, we carry her.
What's your aunt's name again?
Dot Coleman.
And she's probably listening.
Yeah, she listens she's WGNS, got the radio going all the time.
Yeah, sharp. Still got a sharp.
Oh yeah. She named all these people off. It was a class picture with her in it and Charles Jones in it, and my other uncle. It was in the Navy, and she named them all out. I wrote them on back there, and I gave to Mr. Jones, and she remembered all the students.
We want, because you mentioned we need to talk about that, but before we segue into that, he owned Hickory Hollow Mall.
Oh, wow.
Well, he owned
Macy's
part of it,
Macy's.
Yeah. But
talk about how God works. Brenda Bryant, I know I've shared this on the radio. My oldest boy was wanting to sell his house. This has been about 8 years ago. Mm-hmm. And I had happened to talk to Brenda, and I said, yeah, Brenda, we're going to sell Preston's house. We're going to sell it herself. And she goes, Mike, I'm looking for something. Charles put the money up. Tell me if this is not a God thing. And any agnostics, any unbelievers, I challenge you to debate me on this, but we'll do it with some other, statisticians to see what the probability is on this. I just happened to tell her that we're going to sell this house. She just happens to say she's looking for something. She just happens to be a minister. She just happens to want to do like a little women's kind of shelter type thing. She just happens to know Charles Jones. Charles just happens to put the money up. She just happens to close out on this thing. Last year, my son, I know he probably regrets it, he sold it for $140. And it just so happened it appraised at $350. It just so happened that it put 200 and how much money? $200 and something $1,000 worth of equity in her pocket. Yeah. It just so happened. What's the odds of that?
No, I mean that's how God works.
But Absolutely. You need to get with Charles, because here's what Charles is wanting. He's asking me to do this. I've tried. I've talked to Amy Mabry, James Yates, and others, Red Realty, about. This guy, he's like, Mike, help me find some land. He wants to do a workforce housing development, but his concept is this. What he wants to do is build like little, almost like condo units, kind of like the Smyrna Senior Center would be. Okay. Those little units like that, where a couple can buy it, get in there, and if they can stay there 5 years and pay the lease rate on time, rent on time, it'll build up a little nest egg of equity, say 8,000, say 12,000. They turn around, take the equity portion, put it down on a house. So that's his concept. But this guy, we were talking earlier when I was at the car wash. Yeah. When you're at that guy's stage of life, not that I know much about Maslow's hierarchy of needs or what was it, Shakespeare talked about the stages of life. He's at the point of leaving a legacy. Is where he's at, but I mean, you need to meet him. Now he's not really a car guy, but he's a guy who's blazing trails and making a difference.
And that's where he, all these deals. He kind of, like you said, you
he's
see
a deal
these
maker.
deals, the things like he's got places in Florida he's talking about. He's found and.
He just likes to thrill the hunt and the deal.
Yeah. And but I also brought up that old Jefferson thing too.
Oh yeah, that's where I want to go to. Go ahead.
Yeah, and our thing is you got to go on a tour. We're going on a tour this February 28th. We walked back there where the town used to be. My mama was born there, and there was a plantation there. My great grandparents had a
first black lawmaker come out of there.
Trail of
Tears come through there.
All kind of history. And
so much history.
And water never got over it. So,
and it's sad they took all these people's land.
Yeah. But he's wanting to build something back there. He said I'd put up $2 million. That's what he told us. Just like,
wow,
if we can somehow
we got him on the air. He said,
but they need to knock it. They need to knock down the underbrush. That'd be part of the deal where we'd want to build some things. And we keep the the older trees and things. But yeah, he's real sincere about it.
Speaking of coincidences,
but it took me about 2 months. He said I'll get it done. I go okay.
Well, I did. I met with TDEC, Tennessee Department of Environmental Conservation. I happened to hang out with their leadership at Montgomery Bell. Wife and I got invited to an event, and they and me and one of the directors, we had good long conversation. Was it last week, Roger? Was it last week? I think
it was
even after the event.
It was a week I did Carl. I had Carl and Anthony on. So it was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, it was right after that. Well, he said if it fits our mission statement. So I read their mission statement. If anybody is interested in this, just Google TDEC and pull up their mission statement. It looks like it fits their mission. But I was telling this guy, I said, man. I said, I'll challenge you to put up, you look at, where else can you find this history? The first county seat, Rutherford County, the Trail of Tears came through. You got an Indian connection, first black lawmaker, and Sam's Keeble. Then you got Marshall Keeble.
That's right there.
The famous minister. Somebody had something on Facebook, I guess it was Bill Wilson. Mr. Murphy had something, I think, the other day about Marshall Keeble. And I said, it's a beautiful area. And I said, you got a guy, almost a public-private partnership. And, he said, well, they said, well, we'll look, because they are expanding the park system. And our closest park, if I'm not mistaken, is Henry Horton, which is nice.
Yeah.
They're redoing it. I think what they're going, I think Governor Bill Lee's goal is to hit, I think it's 7. I mean, it's not going to happen this term because he's out next year, but I think we're at 63 or 64 right now. I think they'll eventually want to get to 70, You need to go out there. Well, Roger's putting a tour together.
We have the ASC youth hunting event out that's based out of Henry Horton every year with the Soldiers Child Foundation.
That's
we did
what
that
Todd
a couple
Warner
weeks
gets
ago.
involved with. That's cool.
Yeah.
I think we got a caller. Caller, go ahead.
Hey, Mike.
Hey, sorry to keep you on hold.
Yes.
How y'all doing?
We're doing great, Marty. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm enjoying the show. Listen, I got to tell you, guest though, he's from Montana.
Yes, sir, I am.
I did most of my rodeo up in Montana.
Well, if you were there during certain times, we probably crossed paths because my whole family were big rodeo and
what city were y'all in?
I grew up in a really small town about 30 miles east of Billings, Montana, called Shepherd, Montana. And it was all just farm and ranch kids in a small community. Like I said, our town only had 9 or 10 buildings in it, and a blinking yellow light. Really? So, but I had 3 nephews who went to college on rodeo scholarships, and we were all about it. That was a big part of our lives growing up there for sure.
Well, Marty's big time.
I did that trail ride, the one for Custer.
Oh yeah, down in
we had
down
a guy
Hardin.
from the government. Yeah, the guy from the government came. He was called an interpretive trail runner, and he told us the whole story on the trail all the way to where the massacre took place.
Oh yeah. That's only about 70 miles east of my family's ranch is Custer Battlefield.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Marty, tell Eric what you competed in.
Well, I did what they call mounted shooting.
Oh yeah.
I rode a horse and shotguns.
What day did you have a nickname? Didn't somebody give you a nickname?
Don't do it, Marty. Don't bite.
Did you get a nickname? Are you willing to say it on the radio? It's not no violation or anything. Can you share it?
I'd love to hear it, Marty.
Marty, tell us.
My handle was the Marty Man.
No. There's a video of you on YouTube, and don't get mad at me.
I'm not talking about that one.
Man, it's hilarious. Guy called me a faller offer, but Marty was a good faller offer. He like, what was that role you would do? Some jujitsu role.
It did look planned like you did that as the final
I mean,
finale.
like a gun in his hand, rolling.
I did what they call a tuck and roll.
Tuck and roll.
If I went off my horse, yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, Marty. The Montana connection for me started, back in the late 1800s. My family came from. I have a pretty famous family in the entertainment industry that homesteaded in Montana. My great grandfather was Alf T. Ringling of the five. He was one of the five Ringling brothers.
Oh, really?
And they homesteaded in Montana in what is now called Ringling, Montana.
Wow.
And that's how we all made our way up that part of the country.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That is cool.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Marty's been on some film sets. What was that film set you were on a while back, or a couple of years ago, I guess?
Well, if you want to call it a film set, but it was pretty pathetic.
Oh, I thought it was that hit movie.
It was real hit. It's 79 cents in a Walmart basket right now.
No, well, aren't you in that Ray Blanton movie about Tennessee?
Oh yeah, I was in Ray Blanton. I forgot about that.
What they have? What'd you play? You were like an extra or something. What was it?
I was an FBI agent that arrested Ray Blanton.
Oh, okay.
His buddy, the one that actually fired him in real life.
Marty got fired
He got
by Ray
revenge
Blanton
in the movie.
Yeah. He got fired.
But I was going to tell you too. I need tires on my car. I got an old car.
Jeff will hook you up.
More for the gas
Eric said he get
absolutely. Yeah, we can hook you up, Marty, at Crusader Auto Works there in Smyrna.
Just get Tony. Won't y'all drive at 55? You got room to?
Oh yeah.
Okay. I mean, can you house it for a week or two?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Marty, just get Tony to drive it over. Or you drive it over.
Well, y'all gonna be in the Christmas parade in it, aren't you?
Tony is. I'm not.
Now,
we're getting a number of classics ready for the Christmas parade right now.
Yeah, and it's actually we'll
Yeah.
talk about that a little bit. It's actually December the 7th at 2:00 on Sunday. It's the 5th annual Christmas parade, and Marty's got a little connection. He's one of the founders that started the Christmas parade there in Smyrna.
The founder. Let's get the story straight.
Hey, tell us about the first Christmas parade.
I knew I'd get a rise out of it.
The first Christmas parade. Tell us that story, man. Some of this stuff is hilarious.
Where the train?
No, let him tell us,
tell
Marty.
that, Marty. That's a good one.
Started over where you're at, I think. Didn't it start where his shop is? Or no, it started at Smyrna Middle School, the old high school, right?
So, yeah, Gil Olerud is Santa Claus.
Okay, Jenny's dad.
It's his elf.
Who was
Lee
elf?
Victory? Mary Esther's granddad.
Oh, okay. For real?
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
So, anyhow, Gil and Lee get to talking to people in the crowd.
Yep.
And whoever's driving the tractor at the time, they get to talking to somebody too. Well, the parade goes on across the railroad tracks there at Washington.
Yeah, by the train depot.
And then when they realized what happened, the train was coming, so they had to sit and wait for the train to go by.
It got busted by the train separated.
Man, I wonder if it would be neat. It would be neat if you could ask them. Maybe Roger sits on the historic board. Won't you find out if they got the video of the original? If anybody's got video of the original,
that'd be neat to show that
would
this
be
year.
cool.
Yeah.
Can you when y'all ask about it?
We tried, Mike. Nobody I know of got the video of the first one.
That was before that. Yeah, it was probably reel to reel what that would be back
Surely
then.
somebody's got
it. Started
something.
what in 70? Was that 75? It had started.
It'd be
74?
76, right? It'd be 50-year anniversary.
75.
Yeah, 75.
Yeah. I think I was. Was you in it? I think I was in it.
No,
I remember stopping.
I
remember starting.
I had a child football, the one that passed away. My son that
surely
passed
somebody
away.
out there's got photos or something.
Yeah,
Well,
I'm sure they got
Hey,
that.
Marty, here's what's wild. If you could get a photo, Eric could potentially make a video out of it, couldn't you?
That's right. Yeah. Yeah, our production company.
Well,
that's
let's
crazy.
get
Definitely
back
do
to
that.
you real quick. Eric, I need red line tires for my own car.
Oh yeah, yeah. We about half of our shop now at Crusader Auto Works is focused on classic car restoration and custom. We have a couple really cool custom car builds going on there right now too. So we get like we're the only ones doing alignments on classic cars really in the area that have had a lot of experience with it. And so getting parts, getting tires, getting old. We shake a lot of trees for a lot of classic restorations we do, especially for some of the concourse builds that we've done where they want everything to go back right down to the colored oil marks on the bolts and everything else. So yeah, Marty, we can definitely help hook you up.
Your
on
tires
some
are
of those
10
for
years
sure.
old too, ain't they?
My tires are 14 years old.
Wow.
Yeah. We could definitely hook you up there, Marty, for sure.
Well,
now,
Marty,
I'm gonna send Mike to negotiate for me, so I get the best price.
You mean he's going to barter for you?
No, I don't know.
Mark doesn't barter. Don't. Did you read his book? No.
I need to put Marty in there. No, he run me out of his insurance company when I was a kid. Hurt my feelings. Yeah,
Marty, don't bite. Don't bite, Marty. Don't bite.
No, he did. He run me
bring
out.
that up, but I heard you talking about having one of the fastest I rocked and raced it.
Well, we wasn't racing.
Just moved all over, and then you come to me for insurance? Come on.
I know.
Oh, is this the story you were telling me last week?
that was,
This is with Marty?
That was
Marty, you're the smartest man in Rutherford County, apparently. Not
I was
insurance
telling that
is-
story to Paul with the Chamber of Commerce where you hurt my feelings. He goes, man, can you blame him? Would you insure yourself back then? I was like, no, I don't guess I would, But I tell you, I mean, I'm being serious. I'm not trying to be funny. I vowed I was going to get it. I was going to get him back. You ever had somebody that really ticked you off?
Now they're like best friends.
I'm like, I'm going to get one day. I'm going to get this dude. I'm going to get him. And I had all that pent up where I was going to get him. It was going to be good too. And I had my car business, and he come popping in there, and I was about 34, and I was like, yep. I'm fixing to pull the trigger, and I was going to get him. I already had rehearsed what I was going to tell him. I was going to say, hey, brother, don't let that door hit you. And I was going to say it in the AWS on the way out of here. I was fixing to say it, and I paused, and I thought, what would my mom want me to do?
No, that's not what it was. There was too much money involved.
Well, I was thinking, WWJD, we're not talking about Jimmy. We're talking about Jesus. What would Jesus do? And I chose to forgive you. He said what it was. I seen dollar signs.
That's funny. Mike chose to forgive you for having a tremendous amount of common sense.
But you ever had somebody hurt you like that? You're like, I'm going to get this joker back. I ended up selling his dually. I think I sold a dually for you and sold some other stuff for you. Anyways, he's been a big.
I bought from him, and he sold stuff for me. It was a lot of money, and that's what makes you love one another.
Well, but I'm gonna tell you. See, my dad was a car guy, but my dad was not a forgiving person. If you harm my dad would hold that grudge for. He would talk about something that happened to him 40 years ago, and I'm thinking to myself, Dad, you got to move on, man.
That's a long time to hold
Just
on.
let it go.
Yeah.
Yeah, women don't let nothing go, especially if you say something, no, really, everybody knows this, but if you say something
I don't think everybody knows.
35 years ago, 35 years, you better think about what you say to a woman. They do not forget. Yep. They'll bring something up like, what? What are you talking about?
You got to choose your words wisely.
You do. I always think, man. I always think.
I know. Well, we got Marty. Thanks for calling in, brother. I'll catch up with you, okay?
Bye, y'all.
Thank you, man.
Take care, Marty.
We got
bye-bye.
Eric. We got a minute left. Tell us where your car lot is, your car business is, and the Great American Road Rally. We got a minute left.
Yeah, Crusader Auto Works at 307 Hazelwood here in Smyrna. Stop in. We're still doing all auto service collision center work, but then we got about
do oil changes.
Oh yeah,
everything.
Okay. And then we got about half the shop dedicated to restoration.
And you're going to be opening up a Bible study.
That's right.
For classic car guys.
And that's what I was talking about earlier. I came to Christ late in my life, and I view that as a blessing because I can really associate with lost grown men.
Yeah.
And I was 31 years old when I got baptized, and so I meet a lot of people in the custom car world and the restoration stuff.
See, that
and all
Bible
that.
study would have made a difference in my father's life. He would have went to that, but he wouldn't have went to church.
And it's not a hardcore, devotional thing. Nobody's, demanding people to memorize scripture. We're there to reach, guys that need a group of people that they can associate with and relate to, that are in that kind of automotive industry. And listen, it's going to be a cool Bible study. It's right in the middle of a bunch of classic cars.
Are you going to be doing anything after the Christmas parade? You going to have any hot chocolate, hot apple cider?
Yeah.
Your showroom open?
Absolutely, you bet.
Okay, folks, come on by.
First part of January, we'll be all over it.
Well, thank you, Eric. Thank you, Connor.
Thank you, Eric. Thanks, guys.